Hi, it's Jeff here with a newbie's guide to sport investment, Zcode and the meaning of life. And there on the left, to get us started, a little bit of Latin. But unless you've just graduated from an Ivy League university or happen to be a centurion in your spare time, not a lot of use to us. So, there you go. Through knowledge and friendship we profit, which really does say all about Zcode. So to start this video off, let's go with a question. Do professional gamblers exist? Now in my opinion, the answer most definitely is no, they don't. Are they gamblers? Or to put it another way, would a shrewd business investor suddenly throw money at a whim at a possible investment? No, of course they wouldn't. Let's look at those photographs again. Which photo is the odd one out? It's not that one, or that one, or that one, or that one. Let's look a bit more closely at that photograph. What do you see on the screens? Yeah, NBA. Now some of those guys there probably are gamblers, but many of them have put an awful lot of thought into the investment. So what is the difference between a gambler and an investor? Well, your colleague at work has heard that a friend's friend who overheard his brother talk about someone who was an hairdresser that heard from one of his customers' neighbours that his daughter's boyfriend works at a stables and heard that one of the horses is definitely going to win in the 7:30 at Santa Anita. You can't wait to get $100 on it. Now does that make you an investor or a gambler? If you're not sure, frankly, you need to give your head a wobble. Lock yourself away in a dark room and don't come out. For your own safety, don't come out. Ever. Now, you're offered a chance on a dice game. The game is totally fair, normal dice. It will cost you $10 to throw 2 dice. If you throw a total of 6 or below, you lose your money. Throw a total of 7 or above and you get $20. Now, as I said, it's a totally fair game. Normal dice, nothing wrong. Would you go for it? Yes, a person with a brain would. On an average of 100 throws, you would win 58 times and lose 42. That's $1,160 in winnings, losing 420, a total of $740 profit. So, you have 2 options. Look for somewhere fair that gives a dice game like that, or join Zcode. Are you reading this? Well, it means you do not have to give your head a wobble. You have made the right choice. Zcode is just like that dice game. No, seriously it is. Whether you follow Baromir, NFL, Cyril's Cherries, Stuart's Multiples, Ben Oz's NHL Kryptonite and Godzilla, NBA Aragorn and Legolas, Geoffrey NHL, Rowan's Riders, Greg's NHL, Timothy's NCAA, Robert's TTV NFL, Jake's Tennis, Harut's Parlays, Alberto's Engine, Jarman's Cherries, Marina's Soccer or KHL Knowledge, Super -3.5, Soccer Parlays, etc, etc, etc. It is just like following that dice game. On any given investment play you may lose, but over time you will win. So, you are or want to be an investor. You have joined the Zcode community. What next? By joining Zcode, you have made a huge step. Now let's look at 2 things you have to cement in place before you can consider yourself a sport investor. A sound mindset and a sound money management strategy. The 2 main points that make the difference between investment and gambling is a sound mindset and good money management. You have to be clear of what you want. I know this sounds obvious, but believe me, it isn't. If you have dreams of what you want to achieve, well, let's put it like this. The first thing you need to do to achieve your dreams is to wake up. Stop dreaming, start planning. In sport investment, you have to be able to identify value bet situations where the odds available are greater than the true chance of winning, and then have to have the discipline to methodically bet only when these situations arise, or of course follow the experts that do that for you. Patience is a virtue, they say. God knows it is in sport investment. Do this, then all the laws of mathematics and probability dictate that in the long term you will make a profit. Good money management goes hand in hand with a sound mindset. Part of good money management is sound record keeping. Although I keep spreadsheets, which are incredibly useful, I also like to keep records on paper in a file. I guess I see that as a failsafe. You will often see bets, plays, given as 1, 2, 3 units. For most Zcoders, this would be seen as 1%, 2%, 3% of your bankroll. So, say you start off with $1,000, you put 2% on a play at odds of 1.91. This would mean a bet of $20. If you win your bet, your bankroll goes to $1,018.20. Next time you place a bet of 2%, it would mean a bet of $20.36. Likewise, if you lost your first bet, it would mean a bet of $19.60. What this means is, you follow one of Zcode's experts, your bets will gradually rise. Rather than you making irrational decisions like, wow, I've had a great day today, tomorrow I'm going to bet $100 bets instead of the $20 bets I made today. Now, remember this game? Well, anyone of a certain age will. Yes, games actually used to look like this. It was called Frogger. You had to control your little frog and jump from log to log as another one came along to get across the river. Now, you are that little frog and the Zcode experts are the logs. Please stay with me, there is a point to this. If you follow an expert and they have a couple of losing plays, and this will happen of course, don't suddenly abandon that expert and jump on another log. Believe me, you will not prosper. Now, look at this. The above is a graph showing the profit made in MLB on placing $100 bets on money line and -1 handicap with a power ranking difference of more than 12 on Sundays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Over $52,000 in profit. Yes, you read it right, $52,000 plus. Now, just for a moment, back to our frogs and logs. There's the graph. There's little froggy. Now, look at that one little part of the graph. You see the downturn? Yeah, quite a downturn. Look at those losses, probably over say a 15-game period. Not all these plays would have been losses, but you would have made losses over this period. Now, what are you going to do? Jump? Yeah, that's right, little froggy, jump and miss out on probably $35,000 plus in profits that followed. With that sort of thinking, you would end up taking in all the experts' losing streaks and missing out on many of their great winning runs. You ever heard of the poem If by Rudyard Kipling? Well, all the great tennis players, Billie Jean King, Martina Navratilova, Lou Hode, Bjorn Borg, Pete Sampras, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, plus many other great tennis stars will have seen it. It is printed over the player's entrance to the Wimbledon Centre Court. An excerpt reads, "If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same." Losing bets will happen. They are part of the game. One step back and the next day 2 steps forward. You lose a few bets when following an expert. Remember those 2 lines above. If you fill your thoughts with regret and bitterness when you lose, you will not think rationally and make good decisions. Now, you understand the importance of a sound mindset. A sound money management strategy. You remember what I said about 1, 2, 3 units normally representing 1%, 2%, 3%, etc. of your bankroll? Well, this is the way to go. Well, that works well for most people on Zcode, but I would recommend that for the first few weeks, just stake each recommended play for a small amount of, say, $5, $10. Mistakes will be made. Best make them with small amounts. You have to find the books that suit you. Some of their websites can be a little daunting at first when you use them for a first time. Some terminology, like parlays, can confuse at first. After a few weeks, when you feel you are confident enough, then permanently switch to the 1%, 2%, 3% approach. There is one thing I would like to add at this moment. If you do the sensible thing and start by putting on, say, $5 a point before going to the percent of bankroll approach, please don't think to yourself, I must place bigger bets to win back the monthly cost of Zcode. You should think of Zcode as a fantastic training course, which it is. You will learn so much from the various experts, so don't think you suddenly have to start winning back your monthly subscription. Believe me, this is an investment. The profits will soon start flowing soon enough. Choose your bookmakers. Notice I said bookmakers plural. There are major advantages in belonging to a number of excellent bookmakers. First, you will not be able to cover all the bets you may want to with just one book. When you belong to a number of good bookmakers, you can sometimes shop around for the best price, using an odds comparison site like this one. Quite a few books there. Always check your bookmaker is trustworthy before joining. You can find reviews of your bookmakers on that site. And of course you will see what other Zcode members are using. Some bookmakers do not accept customers from certain countries. This unfortunately also applies to sports exchanges. 5 Dimes, Pinnacle, Bet365, Bookmaker.eu, Bovada Sportsbook, Coral, Marathon Bet, Paddy Power, William Hill, plus many other good bookmakers as well. Betfair is by far the biggest and best sports exchange, but cannot accept customers from the US and Australia and some others. But you also have BetDAC and WBX. Betting exchanges can give you fixed odds, quite often better than those available to actual bookmakers, though they also allow you to trade, but we'll leave that for another day. Well, for a first video, I think we have covered enough ground. Oh, what's that? I promised you what? Aha, yeah, the meaning of life. Well, as soon as he tells me, I'll pass on the information. Thank you for joining me for a newbie's guide to sport investment, Zcode and the meaning of life. Through knowledge and friendship we profit. Well, that's the end, but there will be more videos to come. See you then.